making his first field goal on the year, and it's up, and it is good. As they bring the blitz yet again, as it is a play action, and it looks like the ball is tipped up and picked off right there at the line, and that will be as Taylor looks like it'll be a screen, and that will be number 16. He's shifty, gets in there. That will be a touchdown. And it looks like there is a little bit of confusion at the line as the lefty does throw the ball, and it's picked off by Jordan Williams, making a big-time play. With great accuracy today. As it looks like they will roll out, as Taylor looks like he does get in. Yes, and now we have a 3rd and long situation for the Blueberries. Let's see what they come out and do here in this possession now. Wallace awaiting the Bulldogs trying to bring the pressure, but it looks like that will get intercepted right there by, and he's going. He's going to keep going, try to pick up this pick 6. As he's running, and he's still on his feet. He's still going as he stopped right at the 1 yard.
All right, what's going on, good people? Man, it was a different feeling this Sunday versus last Sunday, wasn't it? Waking up after a Bowie State victory, much better than waking up after a Bowie State loss. But I have to say, man, I'm very, very optimistic in terms of the outlook of the season. Now, once again, we got a gauntlet coming up, starting with this weekend on the road at Winston-Salem, and we're going to get to that one, right? We also still got Union, we still got State, we still got Fayetteville State, right? So we know all of that, right? But let's first recap Livingstone. First of all, the boys got payback. Last year, we went to Livingstone, lost that game. That was kind of like the beginning of the end. That was like when the alarm bell should have been going off after that game with the 5 turnovers that we had that game. Losing the game that we needed to win. We didn't go down that road this year. This year at this point looks a lot better than last year at this point, even though last year we were 2-1 with a Division I win on the road. Whereas this year we're 1-2. But it still feels different. Because mind you, last year at Delaware State, that was their head coach's first game as a head coach, and listen, it was not a good one. And we got up out of there. But even with that, remember, it was a lot of warning signs that got overlooked last year, early on. Turning the ball over, not being able to run the ball. We saw all of that last year. But what we have saw so far this year is a exponentially better running game than what we've had the past 2 years. This is the second week in a row where we've outgained our opponent passing and rushing. Well, I think it was both passing and rushing. This is the second straight game where we have dominated time of possession, where we have outrushed the opponent. That's the difference between that last year and this year. This year, you can watch what's on the field, and you can say, okay, I don't see any significant weaknesses. We've been solid against the run, and we've been solid against the pass, and we have forced several turnovers this year. On top of that, we've been able to run the ball this year. Like if you look at our rushing numbers last week versus Livingstone, I like it. Good. 4 yards a carry. Once again, high hundreds, if not in the 200s in terms of rushing yards. That recipe for success. 13 for 21 passing, 2 touchdowns. Did have the 1 interception. Right? Only thing that was bad or not good to see from last week, we all know, that third quarter. That third quarter was bad all around. Had a turnover, couldn't stop the running game, the read option at all. It got ugly. It went from 17-0 to 17-17. Man, that was bad. But overall, once again, the ability to run the ball, the ability to possess the ball, the ability to stop the run, efficiency in the passing game, forcing turnovers, time of possession, awesome. Like, if you've been paying attention week after week, the progression of the team has been growing, has been building, has been improving. The only issue, there were two things that were bad. 2 turnovers last week, 1 fumble, 1 interception. Can't have 2 turnovers. That's the problem. 2 turnovers, and I think we had, between 11 and 13 penalties? Listen, we are going on the road. Now we're going to transition to the Winston-Salem game. Saturday, at Winston-Salem, on the road. Winston-Salem is feeling really good about themselves right now. They're 3-1 at the top of the conference right now. But, matter of fact, before I get into Winston-Salem, let's wrap up Livingstone. Once again, those 2 turnovers, can't do that on the road. That bad third quarter, can't do that on the road. Those 11 to 13 penalties, cannot do that on the road and expect to win. But one more bright spot, special teams. Whew. Special teams was phenomenal this weekend. Made all their extra points and made a field goal. Listen, we play we get that consistently. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat us. We almost beat ourselves with all those penalties and those 2 turnovers. Now, let's get on to Winston-Salem State. Once again, they're 3-1, currently at the top of the CIAA. But here's the thing with Winston-Salem. Just being 100% honest and unbiased, I am not impressed with their offense at all. If you look at their last 2 games, the last 9 quarters, and I say 9 quarters because the last game 2 weeks ago, they went to overtime versus Ohio Dominican, right? Which I assume is in Ohio, but I mean, I don't know. That game went to overtime. So essentially, it's another quarter. So in their last 9 quarters, they have scored a grand total of 3 touchdowns. I'm just going to be real. I'm not impressed or concerned with their passing game. I don't see their quarterback as being really all that accurate. I don't. I see him as an individual who, if he gets to scrambling around in the pocket and creating extra time, and he can find a guy who gets open in the scramble. But as far as stepping back in the pocket, delivering accurately and on time and on target, I don't see it. I mean, if you look at their offense, listen, they want to run the football mostly. Just like we do. We want to run the ball a lot as well. The difference is our quarterback playing offense is better. Like, if you look at them, they averaged 20 points a game this year. 20. And really, the only reason it's that high is because, once again, they played Bluefield week 1 where they scored 30, which is, everybody scores 30 on Bluefield. But you saw them last week against Virginia State. They scored, either one? I think it might have been 2 touchdowns. No, I think they scored 1 touchdown last week. Either way, between the last 2 games, they've scored 3 total touchdowns. They want to run the ball. They'll complete a few passes here and there, by the grace of God. That's what they do. If the Bulldogs go down there and we don't have 13 penalties and we don't have 2 turnovers, and we play our game how we've been playing it the last couple of weeks, this should be a victory. It needs to be a victory. If you really want to contend for the CIAA championship, you're going to have to win this game to get to 2-2. You drop down to 1-3, listen, We should be more hungry than they are. They're 3-1. They just beat Virginia State. They're feeling good about themselves. We are 1-2. We need this game. This is a game we gotta have. And once again, it is to be had. If you look at their offense, it's not impressive. Like, if you were to break down their wins, one win was Ohio Dominican, like, okay. One was Bluefield, okay. And the other one was Virginia State, who, I mean, let's just be real. I'm just going to be honest with you. That's another game we should win, get some payback at their own homecoming, return the favor to Virginia State. Why? Because listen, the transfer running back that they had last year from Jackson State, not there. The quarterback from last year, not there. I'm just going to be honest with you. Virginia State's quarterback play, not impressive. Like we saw them week 0 versus Benedict. They managed to score 24 points. When Benedict looked as bad as you can look week 1. They've looked better since, but week 1, Benedict looked terrible. And even with that, they couldn't really capitalize because Virginia State does not have the quarterback play. Nor do they have the same stable of running backs they had last year. They just don't. But that's down the road. Right now, Winston-Salem State can't have 13 turnovers. Can't do it. Can't turn the ball over twice. Continue to run the ball. Continue to be, efficient in the passing game. Continue to outrush people, possess the ball. We should be able to get about it, able to win. Let's go Bulldogs.